Hi guys, so I'm back now with Xiaomi's Mi Gaming laptop. It is of course their first gaming laptop from them. So you've got Intel's 7th generation CPU options with this. So you've got the i5 7300HQ or the i7 7000HQ. 8 to 16 gigabytes of RAM, the NVIDIA GTX 1050 Ti, or the 1060, which of course is more powerful. I recommend going for that one. After all, this is a gaming laptop and you want to have the best performance there. So my model is that spec, so the GTX 1060 with the i5 processor. So it's not quite as fast as what the i7 will be, but it's sufficient enough for gaming. Now, I feel that Xiaomi made a bit of a mistake here, that they should have held off and waited for Intel's 8th generation 6-core CPUs. And that would probably attract a lot more buyers. So it's a bit of an area they didn't wait to go for that, but do expect a refresh of this model by the end of the year with the 8th generation 6-core CPUs in them. So the build quality of this particular 15.6-inch laptop is really quite good. It's a lot better than those all plastic ones you typically find out there from, say, MSI. The hinge on it is quite stiff. The lid doesn't have any flex whatsoever on it. It's made out of an alloy. And as you can see, it does attract fingerprints quite easily. Now that little strip at the top that you can see, that's for the wireless reception, just to help boost it. And I found the wireless range on this is really good, and I can get a maximum of 580 megabits per second out of the Intel 8265 wireless chip that it has in here. That of course is wireless AC. So this screen is a 1080p panel, anti-glare, and I find it to be better than the Mi Notebook Pro screen due to that reason. That it's not so glary and it's a lot better outdoors. So the maximum brightness is 300 lux and is in fact the same exact panel that you will find in the Mi Notebook Pro. However, of course, it's got the anti-glare. That is the only difference between the two of them. The same sRGB rating, the same Adobe rating as well there. The gamma comes out to be 2.1. Now this screen does not have 120 Hz. It's only a 60 Hz panel. It does not have G-Sync either. So that's one opportunity that Xiaomi has missed out on there. Now when you take a look at the keyboard, now this is probably one of my complaints, is the keyboard. Now it's an RGB backlit keyboard, so you've got 4 different zones. And what I don't like about this keyboard is they've compromised the comfort of this keyboard. So it's got a little bit of flex, not too bad. It's about a couple of millimeters and then it's hard, but it bothers me a little bit considering that the Mi Notebook Pro does not have any flex whatsoever. But what is a pain, they've done a poor decision, I feel, design choice, with these macro keys you can see here. So you've got these 5 macro keys that you can assign to shortcuts, of course, for your gaming. But that has compromised the usability of this keyboard, and it's stupid that they have done this. So they've crushed in the keyboard a little bit more. The spacing of the keys is not as good as the Mi Notebook Pro, and after using this keyboard now for 5 days, I'm still having trouble with it. And when I go to hit escape, I'm still hitting this fan boost button here at the top. So not really a great keyboard. I believe that the likes of, say, the SteelSeries series keyboards that you see on MSI laptops are in fact better than this keyboard here. So a failure there with the keyboard. Now the palm rest, made out of plastic to help reduce the weight. So this is a bulky laptop, not in terms of the physical size of it, it's not too bad, but heavy. 2.75 kilos, and when you add the power supply on top, that brings it up to 3.25 kilos in total that you'll have to carry around in a backpack. So yes, it is a little bit heavy. Now this touchpad is not a bad touchpad at all. In fact, I would say it is one of the best I have used in a gaming laptop. It is Windows Precision Driver controlled, so very good. It's large, it's got a nice smooth surface on it, and more or less the same exact experience as the Mi Notebook Pros. So for ports along the back here, we've got DC in, gigabit LAN, HDMI 2.0, so that's great, 4K 60 Hz, a USB 3 port, and Type-C USB 3.1. That's data and display out up to 4K 60 Hz, but it will not accept charging. You can see obviously we've got that exit vent there, the exhaust vent, 2 USB 3 ports, 3.5mm headphone in and out. Now I wanted to comment on that headphone jack quality, that it is very good, very loud, and impressed with it. No cons at all with that. It's clean, good audio out of that. And you'll see now on the left hand side that we have an SD card slot, which is great to have this, but it's only running at USB 2 speeds.
So it's a front-facing webcam. As you can see, the quality is not good at all. It's a little bit pixelated. 720p only, and this is the audio recorded on the dual array microphones. That at least is reasonably good.
Now along the bottom, you see we've got a massive grill here for the intake vents. Now this is both a pro and a con. Now why is it a pro? Well, obviously we're going to get a lot of airflow through this. And why is it a con? Well, it's probably going to attract a lot more dust. And if you happen to use this on not a flat hard surface in your lap, or for example you propped it up on a bed or something lying down in bed watching a movie, then it will overheat because it cannot suck any air in through the bottom vent here. Now taking a look at the internals, you need to remove 9 screws. There's one under the little plastic clip at the top there. You get that off and you can see the build quality and the internals very well laid out, lots of cooling there. And you'll see that we've got a 2.5-inch spindle drive, and this is 1 terabyte. All models have this. And you've also got a SATA 3 SSD here. Now you can put an NVMe in here, and you can also put an additional drive in here. You'll see up the top there, or just located between that 2.5-inch drive, there's actually room for another SSD. So you can remove that little bit of foam that's on top of the SATA 3 connector, and then slot in an extra drive, which is really good. The battery capacity, 55 watt hours. Now this is good for only 1 hour and 43 minutes of gaming. This was Witcher 3 that I tested out on Ultra on, of course, the dedicated GPU. So it burnt through it really quick. And if you're using the integrated GPU with mixed use, I use Chrome, a bit of streaming, Amazon Prime streaming, I managed to get then just under 4 hours, which is quite poor. This is not great, the battery life that you're going to get.
So the software to control the keyboard and the ambient lighting on the sides is all in Chinese. So you're going to have to get around that. It's not in English at this point in time, but it's pretty straightforward. You can see what this is. This is just our resource monitor there, so you can see what the CPU and GPU are doing. A couple of controls here to disable the Windows key, function key, and even your touchpad. This is for the fan boost mode, so really loud fans, but it cools temperatures down quite quickly. Then the adjustments for the controls here. So these are the macro keys. You can set them up, and it's fairly straightforward. So you've either got the pre-selected ones down the bottom here, or you can add some yourself. So you simply need to push, like for example here, Control F, and it'll be there. You can save that. Even though it is in Chinese, I feel that most people will be able to get the hang of this quite easily. And then when it comes to the keyboard controls, you're able to see, well, these are the side lights you can see at the moment. Change those colors. Again, straightforward. And for the 4 zones of the keyboard as well right there. I feel that most people are able to get this. You can see we've got the different, just straight on. You can have it pulsing on and off, flashing, or just the wave effect. Go through the different effects. And then each of those 4 zones adjust there the color you want. Up to 16 million colors of RGB.
So the laptop's got these 2 downward firing speakers. Now I don't really like this location. They're 3 watt. And they do have Dolby Atmos, basically a graphic equalizer tweaking to them, so you can tweak the sound profiles a little bit according to what you're watching. I'll give you the sample of them now. They don't actually sound too bad. They probably could do with a sub just to make them a little bit more punchier, however. So when you have a look at thermals, the internal thermals are good. So it will not go over 75 degrees on both the CPU and GPU. That's great. However, it comes at the expense of some rather excessive fan noise and fan profiles. I wish they had a custom fan profile option like other manufacturers let you tweak that, but you don't get that here with Xiaomi. And once you start to game, it is really quite high, and you can see here it's at 56 decibels as the typical gaming noise. And if you decided that you were going to use that fan boost option, then it goes right up to 67 decibels, which is super loud. I'll give you a sample now of what to expect from the fans. Now taking a look at benchmarks, so Geekbench 4, you can expect a single core score of around 4,000, multi-core score of 11,000. Cinebench R15, well, this is about 500 CB, so it's not super powerful, this particular configuration, especially with the i5. And this is the score here for Firestrike, so that's 3D Mark's score there, around 9,000, and that puts it on par really with any other GTX 1060 GPU.
So we'll take a look at how long it takes to edit 4K video. This is the YouTube 4K preset. I will start the timer and hit export. Okay, so there we go. 3 minutes and 57 seconds there to encode 4K with the YouTube preset with Adobe Premiere Pro. This is about 50 seconds slower than the i7 7700 HQ. So get that processor if you intend to edit a lot of video.
And now, of course, it's a gaming laptop, so we have to check out gaming performance. So these are the kind of average frames per second that you can expect from the following games. Okay guys, so just to quickly recap here, we've got a really excellent build quality of this laptop. It's probably better than most other GTX 1060 laptops you will find out there. It is really quite good, so Xiaomi's done an excellent job with that. Considering it is their first gaming laptop, the thermals are good, they're under control. The fan noise, however, is just too excessive. I don't like it. It's quite a loud laptop, and if you put on that Afterburner turbojet fan mode, it's super loud and it's going to irritate anyone around you, even yourself. You're going to have to put a headset on if you want to game with that on at least. I don't think you actually need to use it though, unless you're in the Sahara Desert or something like that and you're going to be gaming there. So the touchpad is one of the best I have used on a gaming laptop. It's really good. It's super large. That is great. The speaker is good audio quality. 3.5mm headphone jack is quite punchy. It's loud. That's also good. Webcam's not really that great. So the screen, okay, it's 60 Hz. It's not 120 Hz, it doesn't have G-Sync, but apart from that, it is a decent screen that they have used in here, the same as the Mi Notebook Pro screen. So it comes to the biggest con for me has to be the keyboard. I don't agree with Xiaomi's design choices here. I don't know why they decided to literally ruin this keyboard. The key travel is fine, it's about 1.8mm. It's RGB, we've got the RGB sidelights as well. I mean, that is all good, but this extra row of keys, the column of keys, sorry, that they put in here, with the 5 shortcuts and then the fan booster, it really does kill this keyboard because often you go to hit escape, you hit the fan booster mode. You go to hit control and you end up hitting one of the shortcut keys there. And because they've just crammed it in a little bit more, the spacing of the keys isn't quite as good as the Mi Notebook Pro. So I've moved from that keyboard to this one and I'm having a lot of trouble with the typos. And even after 5 days, I'm finally starting to get used to it and not hitting those keys all the time. It's a bit of a learning curve to have this keyboard here, and I don't know why Xiaomi decided to do this. Did their prototype team, when they were testing the prototype, not actually type on that keyboard? It's really just mind-boggling that they went with this design. Those keys should be at the top, or they just shouldn't have them. Even the Mi Notebook Pro keyboard with RGB would have been perfectly fine, I feel, for a gaming keyboard. It's a solid keyboard. Apart from that, okay, it is expensive. So Xiaomi didn't put the 6th gen, sorry, not the 6th gen, the 6 core CPUs on here. That's the 8th gen. They should have gone with those as well. So it makes it a really hard laptop to recommend. It is a good laptop, but it's just, I can't recommend it. I feel go with MSI, Acer, Asus, Dell gaming laptops with a similar spec. Save yourself about $300, $200 US, and you probably even have a much better keyboard as well. So I hope you guys liked this review here. Please give a like if you did. And subscribe to the channel, and also check out my review up here of the Mi Notebook Pro. This one is actually a fantastic laptop from Xiaomi with hardly any faults at all, that one. So do check out that. If you're not after a gaming laptop, I highly recommend that one. And my latest videos up here. Bye for now.